Welcome to the Does This Happen to You podcast, where we explore the funny side of truth is stranger than fiction stories. Our story this week is from Bev Potter, who you'll find on medium.com, and here is A Trip to the Emergency Vet with Ms. Hershey Potter. Yes, that's what they call my dog, even in writing. There are few things sadder than a pet store. When I walk into PetSmart, the first thing I see on my left is a wall of betta fish, each a burst of color languishing in their individual cups. They don't move, they don't play, they just float in space and wait. The next display is the lizards. There's not a lot to see here because most of the reptiles hide in their artificial rocks and caves, dreaming of a time they ruled the earth. The only exception was a tiny bearded dragon who watched every customer pass with a belligerent smirk on its face. The cats are on the back wall, and I don't visit the cats. That's how you end up with a cat, by just going to look at the cats. The city of New York has now thankfully banned the sale of dogs in pet stores, and I hope this becomes more widespread. Maybe this will slow down the puppy mills. After the lizards comes the birds. I don't know much about birds. They're pretty, but I feel bad for them. I wouldn't want to live in a cage if I was born to soar through the air, or at least flap very quickly from tree to tree. The illegal trade in exotic pets is a multi-billion-dollar business, and I don't want to encourage that. I did have concerns about one parrot-like something that was trying to shove his entire body into a paper towel tube. He couldn't get more than his head in, no matter how hard he tried. But what if he did, I worried. What a way to die, stuck in a paper towel tube. I was at PetSmart because Hershey, the rescue puggle of indeterminate age and origin, had decided to either have a stroke or develop a vestibular disorder. It's impossible to say which, so we're going with the vestibular disorder, which is to say vertigo or old dog syndrome. I went to the pet store in search of pill pocket treats. Hershey had been having odd little episodes in the middle of the night for a few days, but when she suddenly couldn't walk at all and wanted to crawl under my desk and spin, which was not ideal, I said, "We're going to the ER." We have an animal hospital 1 county over with an excellent reputation and the billing practices to back it up. It's $150 just to walk through the door. Hershey was already in the system from that time she bit a snake, so when we pulled in, she was whisked away by 2 vet techs to be triaged. When I went back to talk to the doctor, we discussed a neuro workup and possible cardio follow-up due to Hershey's heart murmur. The doctor said all the signs pointed to vestibular disease, but neurology would give us better idea as to whether she'd had a stroke. Her symptoms are fairly mild compared to some dogs we see. Many dogs alligator roll and lose control of their bowels. Great. My assistant will bring you an estimate. An estimate? I thought in alarm. That can't be good. Your mechanic hands you an estimate when he needs to put his kid through college. A young woman brought in a piece of paper with a list of procedures and tests on it that totaled 4 figures, and I, of course, immediately signed. Fortunately, I suppose, a doggy MRI was out of the question due to Hershey's age and heart condition. I cannot imagine what an MRI costs, but if Hershey was a younger, stronger dog, I have zero doubt that I would have paid it. Several hours later, Hershey was returned to me with no certain diagnosis, but walking in a straight line. She looked like she had just returned from the war. Her fur was mussed up, and she was wild-eyed, crazy to get the hell out of whatever this place was. I handed over my credit card, which immediately burst into flames, and then we headed home through the night with 2 bottles of pills. That was a few days ago, and she's been fine since then. She's taking the same medication my mom took for years for her dizziness, which I know would have amused her. Hershey may have had a stroke, or she may have a brain tumor, or it might just be one of those things. All we can do is go on with our lives. Not surprisingly, the pill pockets don't work. "Do I look stupid?" Hershey asks, as she sucks down the treat and spits out the pill. "You're going to have to do better than that." Thanks for listening. I'm Chris Kepler, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these stories as much as I enjoyed narrating them. I'd love for more people to hear these wonderful stories, so please share and tell your friends.